Hello, TC. TC.
Yeah, I can hear you, Togide.
Yeah, please try and see if you can unmute Woody.
I've done that.
Give him the mic.
I have. Hello, Woody, can you hear me? The light sync is having network issues. So, anyone with questions for IQ with respect to the metaverse? If you're here, you can signify by requesting to speak, and I'll mute you. Okay, IQ, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right, let me ask a question. So, in the last session, someone asked the difference between the internet and the metaverse. Now, I want to ask, is the metaverse a replacement of the internet, or do we still need an internet connection, or data connection to access the metaverse?
Well, to start the question, these are my personal opinions and what I believe the future is, right? So I'm not really operating on any information or any inside information that I've seen from any company. My belief is that the metaverse is going to completely take over the current internet. Right,
इंडिया में
you've
केवल
heard
इसी
my
कब तक आएगा?
catchphrase. There's no more internet. There's only the metaverse. Right, so the infrastructure of the internet will remain, except it will be no longer an infrastructure that has single points of failure. Right, we'll have the blockchain will take over, which is a distributed system. So if you lose a data center in, say, like Malaysia, it doesn't affect the overall metaverse. All right, so basically it can never fail. So the actual underlying internet infrastructure will be there. It's just that we won't have internet anymore. It'll be metaverse.
Okay, thank you so very much for that. If I get it correctly, the internet protocol will be there, the framework will be there.
Yeah,
but we won't
there will still be IP addresses and all that type of thing. But it's just like now. You won't know about that thing. You'll have just different interfaces. You'll put it on. It'll connect into the cloud, right? Which will be a metaverse cloud, which will be a distributed cloud, and off you go. So instead of being a 2D experience, though, you'll be in a 3D experience.
Okay.
Yeah. The thing you're going to notice is the desktop. The desktop's going to be completely different.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Jacob. You can ask the question.
Yeah. I would like to know how is Pi connected with the metaverse, because I have not heard this announcement from the core team of Pi. How is it connected? How is it going to be? How are we going to trade in this? And yeah, generally, I would want to know the relationship and the connection and how the setup, the framework is done.
Yeah, that's a good question, Jacob. Obviously, I don't have any relationship with the Pi core team. I'm just I started developing with Brainstorm. All right, so I was just part of the hackathon, and the more and more I started to develop my apps, I started to think, all this would function great in the metaverse. So I just started creating the metaverse. Now I can pick any blockchain I want because the blockchain is just the back end, right? So I could put my metaverse on any blockchain that currently exists. Right now, I need things like NFTs, smart contracts, all that type of thing. And I'm just assuming, since we're pretty well a fork of, I know some people don't like to think of that, but we're pretty well a fork of Stellar, right? So Stella's already putting all these things on. They got smart contracts coming now. So it's just my assumption that Pi will have those things. Now, I'm just a massive Pi fan. I think Pi is going to be world currency. I think it's going to be absolutely massive. So I'm basically placing my bets on the Pi core team. So it's just my blockchain of choice.
Uh-huh.
Okay, Jacob, you got the answer?
Yes. I've gotten the answer. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Jacob, for that question. IQ, thanks for the answer. So IQ is the developer, from what he says.
Yeah. In the long run, we need to be involved and make any contribution, probably to make it work and to be realized in a way.
Great. That's perfect. So IQ is a developer. Doesn't have any. He's not affiliated to the core team. Like he said, he started with the hackathon from Brainstorm and all, and he's working on a metaverse for Pi, which is I am a pioneer, an avid pioneer, which is a big deal for me. It's a very big deal for me, and I appreciate the likes of IQ and every other developer out there that is contributing and are contributing to the development, to the growth of the Pi network. I believe these things will be referenced in the future as one of the hallmarks or highlights of the Pi network. Thank you so very much, Jacob. If you have any other question, you can just request to speak. I'm meeting you now.
Yeah, for me, I just don't ask permission to do things. I dream big, and if I want to develop a metaverse, I just go full steam ahead and just do it.
Can you come again with the IQ? IQ?
Yes, sorry.
Yeah, come again with what you just said.
Sorry, I was just saying I don't ask permission to develop anything. I just dream big, and if I want to make something, I just go and create it. I've done that all my life.
Marvelous. IQ is a big dreamer, and whatever he wants to do, he goes out there to get it done. That's great. Thanks. Thank you, IQ. Any other question from the community? Anyone who has a question should just speak up. If you're muted, you can request to speak and I will unmute you.
Pi Sontech was raising up his hand and I've unmuted him. Pi Sontech. If you're there. I don't think he's there anymore. We lost him.
Okay. And IQ, I have a question for you.
Shoot.
Okay. So if I peradventure I post my account details, my private information online, how, if I delete it, if I post it mistakenly and I delete it on a blockchain, if I delete it, will this still be accessible to all? I want to know, how does that relate?
So I look at this like, it's just like posting anything, be it post an image or anything like that. So it gets saved in a distributed system. So normally, typically, especially in today's world, you would post that image and it would be stored on a server somewhere and some amount of disk space. But we're in a distributed system, which means it gets shared around the world. Right? Now, it's still the same though. If you delete that image is gone, right? It doesn't exist anymore. And don't forget, when you're talking about private information and all that, we're using blockchain technology here, so everything's encrypted. So you get two things out of blockchain. You get distributed systems and you get encryption. I mean, we've always had encryption, but we're on blockchain now.
All right. Thank you for that. So in essence, blockchain security or blockchain offers maximum or near maximum security to private.
I wouldn't say it's better encryption. It's essentially using the same encryption that we always use, but you're getting the extra reliability of distributed systems.
All right, that's great. Thank you.
I have just unmuted some people that wanted to ask questions. Black Suede, Van Fu, you can just unmute your mic and ask your questions.
All right, good afternoon. I just quickly want to know, I have my Pi mining on an iPhone, and I'd love to switch to another phone. Why sign out and sign in on it, or leave the old one signed in and then sign in on the new one with the same?
Okay, if I heard that correctly, I'm not sure I got that, but I think I made out that he was going to sign out from this account and sign in with another account. Okay, because his network was dragging. Okay, now anyone else has an interaction with IT?
Sorry. Yeah. Can you?
Okay, he's back.
Yeah, can you hear me? My question was, my question was signing out from old phone into another phone, a new phone.
Black Suede, your voice is not coming across.
So how do that? Do I
properly?
leave the old account signed in on the old phone?
In your voice, I think your network is bad.
New phone, same.
Your network is not too good. I think we can't hear you properly, Black Suede. Okay, I heard that.
Okay, I'll try again. Yeah, okay. I hope you heard it. Yeah, okay. Because I'm asking, I have a new phone and I would like to migrate to the new phone. I want to sign out from the old one and sign on into the new phone. Do I sign out from the old phone before signing on into the new phone? I mean, am I going to lose my...
Okay. So this is Pi and the Metaverse. Yeah. So your the questions should be relating to the discussion. So yours is outside the discussion, but I will just give you a quick help and answer that. Just sign into your new phone. Do not log out from your old phone while your mining session is still on. If you log out, you will lose all you have mined for that mining session. So finish your mining session. After it's done, then you can log in to the new phone and continue mining. When you're mining there, you can exit the old phone. That's it. So next question, please. Another person. Metaverse questions, please. Pi and the Metaverse. Riri baby, you are muted.
Hello?
Yeah, you're ahead. Riri baby.
Yeah, okay, that's great. My question, because I'm kind of new to Pi, but I really love the idea, and I'm also virtual reality artist. So in the system of also building metaverses and all that. So how can we integrate in the future, making Pi like a payment system? Like, is that system ready yet? That's like my question. I don't know whether it's too forward or too backward, whether it has been answered or it hasn't been.
Yeah, it's quite easy really, because like I say, the blockchain itself is actually just the back end of it. So at the basics of it all, we're just talking about a ledger system, and we're just transferring money, right? So, and once we add NFTs, all right, and smart contracts, you're just same thing. You're transferring assets, right? So it's there's lots of complicated things you can do with it, but at its very essence, we're just talking about sending money around. It's just crypto money.
Okay, so it's possible to build like a beta version, of a metaverse and just see whether we can integrate Pi as a payment system.
I'm building it right now without any blockchain at all.
Wow.
Right, the blockchain I can just add in at any time.
Okay, wow. Can you share? Can we see? I'm interested.
I've got videos on my channel, on my YouTube channel.
Okay, I just followed you now.
If you type in Pi Network Metaverse, then most of the time I come up, well, all the time I come up first. So you'll see my channel. It's just the same name, RQ.
Okay, that's great. I just sent you a DM now. We'll talk about this later.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, thanks for that, Riri baby. And I believe you are satisfied with that answer. So, IQ, if I may ask, anyone can create or develop a metaverse?
Essentially, yes.
Okay. So what is the role of a blockchain? How does a blockchain help a metaverse?
Well, the first thing is it's providing the financial system, right? So it's powering all your marketplaces and anything you want to buy. So you got to look at the Pi network as a bank, right? It's providing the liquidity for the system to operate. Now, when we add in because it's a blockchain system, like I said, it's a distributed system. So it's providing basically 100% uptime. Now, normally in a data center environment, like your current banks and all that type of thing, uptimes are measured. They call it how many nines you've got. So the expectation is that it's going to be at least 99% uptime, right? But then we go into the decimal points. So 2 nines is 99.99, right? And then you can go all the way down the decimals, and that's you say, what's our uptime here, right? You say, well, it's 2 nines or 3 nines, right? But in the in the blockchain space, it's 100%. It never goes down. The only thing that would stop it is if you lose your internet connection itself.
Okay. So what are the roles of VR and AR in the metaverse?
So we're changing the essence of the metaverse is that we're changing the peripherals that we use to access it. So now when we use the web, obviously we've got phones and all that, but we're using keyboards and mice, right, and all that sort of thing. Those will all go away, right? And you'll just be using hand gestures and voice control.
Okay. With the help of, is there any medium between us, the humans, and the metaverse, since it is not a physical thing, it's a digital thing? How do we access, how do we go through it?
Well, the new peripherals are your AR, VR. Myself, I'm using SimPit, right, which is basically essentially large curved screens around you. But when I use that, I don't need any headsets or any haptic gloves or anything like that, right? So you're getting rid of all those things that currently, give you dizziness and all that type of thing. I'm more focusing that for the enterprise space, just because it's such a huge market, but it's usable in the home space too.
Okay. Thanks for that. Any questions from the house? If you want to speak, you can just request to, and I will unmute you for you to ask your questions. Remember, the session is about Pi and the Metaverse. Just request to speak, and I'll now wait you. Okay, so IQ, can the everyday person access the Metaverse? Is it affordable? Is it for the rich or for the everyday person?
Yeah, I mean, the main thing at the moment with Metaverse is all your open world games. So you're already doing it. So however you're accessing those open world games, that's what's currently available. And this is what I try to reiterate. You know, Metaverse is still very, very new. You know, I equate it to being back, say, like 1996, where we didn't have computers on all our desktops. You know, there was no mobile phones or anything like that. Well, sorry, there was mobile phones, but not smartphones. So that's where we are with the Metaverse now, right? So I always use 2025 and 2030. You know, 2025, we're going to be, you know, you're going to see a lot of it around. You know, there's going to be a huge amount of Metaverse around. But really, this is going to be the lifestyle of 2030. You know, it's this completely new thing for 2030.
Okay.
So what I mean by, I don't mean it's going to take till 2030 before we see it, but by 2030, it's just going to be commonplace.
Okay. So in that sense, over the course of time, the internet like we know it today will phase out gradually, and everybody will be keen to using the Metaverse.
Yeah, so when you want to do your shopping, instead of shopping on the internet, you're going to shop in the Metaverse.
Wow, that's great. So I can decide to go to a store that I want to on the Metaverse, get things, pay there, and it will be delivered to me in real life and in real time.
Yeah, but it's everything, you know, like I said, it's all these smart cities and digital twins and, you know, education, you know, everything's going to be, it's the new internet. So everything you currently have in the internet now will just be Metaverse. And it basically just means it's going to be way cooler.
That's true. Imagining it. Imagine I going to an Amazon store or a Nike store, purchasing some items and paying with whatever currency they accept, and I'm doing all this from the comfort of my house.
Yeah, I mean, some companies are really ahead of the game here, and they're currently really doing it, and they're full steam ahead on it. Like I said, it really what we're trying to get over the years coming up to 2030 is the immersiveness, right? How real can we make it? You know.
Okay. How real? Like if I'm thirsty in real life, whereas I am on the Metaverse, I'm having a meeting. How can I quench my thirst?
Thirst in there, but that's the idea. Yes, it's, you know, can we make it so it's not distinguishable? And I don't mean sort of like, you know, I mean like, you know, you got your Unreal Engine now, you know, that's coming up, looks so lifelike. But not everyone wants that, you know. A lot of people like you know, these cartoony universes and stuff, and I do too, you know. But it's really about, because you know, you get in the VR and all that, but you still know you're in your lounge room and that, you know. But when you really ramp up the immersive, like with the sim pits, you're in a darkened space, right? So, and this, like an IMAX screen, except but the IMAX still doesn't get all the peripheral vision, whereas in SimPit, I can get it so that the screen covers your whole peripheral vision, right? So when you're standing there, you're going through all the motions and everything with it,
Okay. Wow. So
it's all about the immersiveness.
The better the tech, the better the immersiveness. In other words, if the metaverse becomes so immersive as tech savvy people want it to be, can someone rob me on the metaverse? Like, can I be robbed? Can my house be buggled?
Kind of, but it's like, but if you're walking down some 3D alley and some criminal comes out and wants to steal from you, well, you just snap your fingers and you're not in that alley anymore, right? Everything, there's so many, all those things that we dream about in the movies and all that, they all become reality in the metaverse because there's no restrictions. That's why I talk about things like, we can time travel, we can jump from country to country without taking a plane. You just dream it and bang, you're there. So anytime anyone's hassling you or someone wants to fight you or you don't like somebody, you can just turn them off or you can just leave. I'll give you a good example too. If I'm, right, say I'm shopping, right?
Okay.
So I go, right, now there's certain shops that I don't go into, right? Something like a Rolex store, right? Now I can't afford a Rolex, so I don't go in there, right? But in the metaverse, no one cares, right? Because when I go into the shop, I can change my experience. So if I want to have people waiting on me hand and foot, I can have, choose to be surrounded by staff. Or if I like the, watching other people shopping there as well, I can have those people turned on. But if I just want to go in by myself, I can just turn all those things off. They're just features. So I can have the whole store to myself and with no staff. And I can just go in and just try things on and see watches and all that. And then if I choose to buy something, I just toggle a switch and the staff appear. Right? So you're in total control of what you're experiencing.
Amazing. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Okay, now I don't know if this question will it's like, I don't know if it's a repetition of what I've asked, but for example, in the now world, if I'm browsing the internet, for example, I'm surfing a sports site, for example, and a call comes in on my phone. Now this happens to me. The internet connection automatically breaks, it stops, and I go offline while answering the call. Then when I'm done with the call, I come back and I have to refresh for me to continue browsing. So how would that be in the metaverse?
Everything's like I said, it's essentially a desktop in a 3D environment. So every application is unique to itself. And like I said, your metaverse is an interconnection to all the metaverses, right? There's metaverses metaverse is like a global term, right? So it's basically the king of multitasking. So and again, you're in control. So if you want to answer the call, you want to put that on, whatever you want to do with it, you just do that yourself.
Okay. That's great. Thanks for that. So I can't pronounce this name. It's written in Chinese. I think he's trying to speak.
How are you doing,
what he's saying.
everyone? Everyone.
Okay. In God, you have a question. Can unmute yourself and speak. God, if you're there, you can unmute yourself and speak. Okay. So if you have any questions, just request to speak and I'll unmute you. All right, so IQ, I have another question.
Shoot.
Are you there, IQ? Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, shoot.
For example, I was thinking, now I want to watch a Premier League match, a football match, and I don't want to go to the stadium. Is there any possibility that I can stay in my house and also be at the stadium through the help of the metaverse? Is it possible?
There's two ways. Obviously, there's two ways you can do it here now. The first thing is everything that's in the web, so like your web pages or streaming a video, YouTube's, all that sort of thing. They'll just come up in a normal desktop display, so like a rectangle, right? So that's all going to look the same, except now you can have 50 displays if you want. It's really up to you. They're just hovering in the 3D space. So if you want to watch the football like a normal TV, right, that just comes up in its own window, right? But there's also the thing of, well, we're in the metaverse, right? So we can go to the game, whether it's live or a replay, and we can have a first-class experience, right? So none of this, I couldn't get a ticket to the grand final, I couldn't do that, I couldn't buy one. It doesn't matter, right? You're basically an individual in a stadium of 100,000 people. So you can walk into the VIP area if you want. You can walk into the players' clubhouses. Now, whether you can interact with them or not will be dependent on things, but maybe you do want to, But that's essentially it. There's nowhere off limits. You can go to that whole stadium, walk in any stand, sit anywhere you want. Maybe you want to sit a quarter behind the goal. The other time you want to be on the sidelines. You could walk down to the coach's box, right? There's no security in these places. You can do whatever you want because everything's a virtual representation, right? This is the whole thing I talk about, digital twins. There's a copy of the real world.
Okay, so the metaverse, will it be built by just any developer or the owners of the stadium or the owners of the club or their developers?
It'll be so like, just say you're watching Chelsea play, right? Now, what's the Premier League is the owner of all these clubs, right? Or the whole competition. So they have their own Premier League metaverse. So I enter into my metaverse, and just like a normal channel on your TV, you select the Premier League metaverse, and then from there, they tell you, okay, you can do this and you can do that, and they give you all your options that you can do.
All right. That sounds interesting. Wow.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying though, because it's all metaverse, you can choose to share it with your friends, right? Or you can just go by yourself, and everything is first class. You don't have to sit right up in the top of the bleachers. It's the whole thing's great for you. I don't know how your hot dog's going to taste in there, but I guess that'll be available too.
Yeah. Okay. It's making sense now. I'm gradually getting the bigger picture to becoming
there's
real.
multiple metaverses. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, that'll be all from me for now. I'm grateful. Thanks for the lights that you're sharing on these things, the metaverse, and how it works, what we can do with it, and it's be a great experience. And I I'm of the opinion, or I believe Pi will be a front runner. Pi will be one of the biggest cryptocurrencies out there because of its ecosystem, because of its power, its interoperability, and so many other things that the Pi network has.
Yeah, and don't forget we've got 30 million people that are going to be flush full of cash. That's 30 million consumers.
That's massive. That's amazing. So I can visit tourist centers. I can go to places without me leaving my house, my home. That's good to know. Okay. So Mr. Dayo Shineye, did you raise your hand? Maybe requesting to speak? You have the floor. You can speak. Hello, Mr. Dayo. Okay. He's not there. All right, Woody, can you hear me? Hello, Woody, can you hear me? Okay, it's not there. It seems Woody and Sagiji are having network issues. Alright. Okay, Ike, any general knowledge you want to share with us on the metaverse? Something you think we should know and how we should go about it?
I guess it's kind of painting a picture for you of what you're doing. So when you enter into the metaverse, your homepage is anything you want it to be, right? And then that's kind of your launch pad. So I always talk about, for me, the way I would want to enter the metaverse is into my own penthouse, right? So in my own penthouse, I have, it no longer matters how much money I've got. If I want to have a penthouse, I just have a penthouse, right? And in that penthouse, I have things where I can launch off, right? So I put on my glasses, right? I enter into my penthouse, right? I look around, right? I've got a grand piano in the corner. I've got a kitchen over the side. I've got a long hallway that's got multiple doors there, right? And they're entrances into different metaverses. And essentially, I call that my favorites, right? So in this 3D space, you can do things like I go into the kitchen and, I open the fridge and all the pop-ups come up and all that, and they tell me how much things I've got in my fridge, right? Which is a digital twin of the real world. And through this, it can tell me, oh, you're running out of milk or whatever like that. So then I just go, okay, get me some more milk. But that's the simple stuff, right? When I go down my hallway, right, I have like a doorway, right? And this doorway is like a magical door. So, and like, this is just one version. This is how I envision it for myself. And so I say like, okay, I've got a meeting in an hour, right, with all my colleagues, right? And we're going to have a virtual meetup in a room somewhere. But that room's anywhere, and I can go there instantaneously. But I've got an hour to kill, right? So for me, I like riding trains and stuff, right? So I click on a menu near the door, and I go, okay, get me to the train. I pick the train station, right, and my duration, right. I open the door, bang, I'm straight onto the platform for a train, right, and I can make that train anything I want. I can select different ones, I get on the train, I ride the train around anywhere I want to, right. Could be in the real world, could be fantasy, could be anything. And then right after 60 minutes, because that's how long I set it for, the train stops, and it stops right out the door of my meeting. Right. So now I'm in my virtual meeting. Right. So there's lots of different scenarios of what you can do, what you want to do. And, we're killing some time, we're enjoying ourselves. We've got a lot of things to do in the day. So these are just giving you, or if you want to go shopping, you know, it's just select your menu, take me to this mall, bang, you're in the mall, you know, or you're in this certain shop. So you can make things quick, or you can make things a bit more delayed, you know. You can do anything you want.
Wow.
Okay. I have a question about specifically about Pi and the timeline. Where are we? As you know, Bitcoin is more than 12 years old now, and Ethereum and its smart contract is about 7 years old. And then there is Algorand, there is Avalanche, and there are many more blockchains that can support smart contracts and maybe metaverse. So, and many pioneers that are coming to the knowledge of blockchain and the metaverse, they are coming through Pi Network. And even in 2022, we have not started using the Pi blockchain. So I want to ask, where are we in the metaverse journey? Are we late? I mean Pi Network. Is Pi Network late in the metaverse journey?
No, not at all, because we're a fork of Stellar, and Stellar's been working so hard. Don't forget, Stellar is, they call themselves Stellar, but behind it all, they're IBM, right? So IBM's running the show there. And IBM, like, because I've worked in banks, right? I worked for ING Bank, I've worked for Maybank in Malaysia. Everything in banking data centers, and everything in the core part of it, which means all the databases of all the transactions, is all IBM, right? IBM runs your banking throughout the world, right? So anything financial, right, is pretty well going through the Stellar Development Foundation, right? Now, we're a fork of that. So we're ahead of the game because we're copying open source software, right, which has all the work done for us already. All right. Now, Pi takes that and then tweaks it and does what they want to do with it, and makes their own version of it. But all that massive amounts of work, and don't forget, we're 3 years old too. So, and this is just the financial back end of the metaverse. So, the short answer is no. The only thing is we're, like I said before, it's the assumption of NFTs and smart contracts and all that. They're all going to come on. Like, it's already pretty well done on the Stellar blockchain. So we're probably, I don't know, I would say maximum 2 years. And I would think by the end of the year. I don't talk with core teams, so I don't know what their timeline is.
Okay, thank you. So, as I understand, if companies and institutions and even startups start services and start giving their products on the Pi blockchain through the metaverse, as you say, metaverse is a 3D internet. So let me assume I'm now in the metaverse through the Pi blockchain, and I enter a company of Walmart, and I'm buying stuff on Walmart. What currency am I going to be paying with? Will it be only Pi? Can there be any other currencies?
My assumption is Pi, but I don't know what their plans are, whether they're going to be doing tokenization, whether you can make, like, so whether Walmart will have their own token under Pi, where Pi is the liquidity of the protocols. I don't know. I'm going on the assumption that Pi is the currency and we're going to use Pi as the currency. I think it gets too complicated when you start tokenizing everything too, but for companies, tokenization is very attractive, because you make a lot of money out of it.
Yeah.
But for me, I hope we just have Pi as the currency.
Yeah. Okay. So, for example, football association can they can have token. Maybe they can call it FIFA token, and maybe you can buy the tokens with Pi. Then you can view their matches. You can view their matches on the metaverse with the token.
Yeah, I mean, it's just financial, so anything that can be put on a ledger, like from day one, we're going to be able to do transfers of Pi, and that's all you require, to get that functionality of marketplaces. But like I said, it just stops any complications, and who wants to be converting their coins into other tokens all the time and all that? We just want one single currency.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, so since Sunday, we this is the second edition of this Pi Metaverse Twitter Spaces. We have had you here on Sunday, and now today on Wednesday we are having you again. So, and all this while we have been speaking about the positive aspects of Pi and the metaverse. So I want to ask, are there any downsides to this? Um, you can't deny that there are some criticism about the metaverse. Some are calling it buzzwords. So what do you think? Are there what are the criticism you have heard about the metaverse? Is
Oh
it just
well,
a buzzword?
that's a loaded question. That one. I'm trying to sell the metaverse. No, look, absolutely. Before Facebook made their announcement, everyone loved metaverse. Everyone thought it was fantastic. They could see some downsides coming, that could be possible. But as soon as Facebook, renamed themselves to Meta and said they were going to do it, well, unfortunately, people like Facebook, their trust is just spent. People don't trust those companies like that anymore. And so there's a big trust issue, right? Now, I don't want to. I don't want to sort of. I mean, I've got my own personal opinions when it comes to the downsides of metaverse, right? But I'm a developer of the metaverse, and I love the metaverse, and I think there's a lot of good about it. And even the things I think there's going to be a massive change in society too, right? Now, hopefully, that's not a forced change, right? Hopefully, metaverse is an alternative. An alternative that you can use or not use, right? But as you see, when we go into lockdown, well, the metaverse becomes quite important. Now, there's tons of things I could list off about where I think we're going to be in 2030, right? But for me, someone like me, I've got a certain lifestyle, and that lifestyle actually matches about 80% of the things I think metaverse will be. It's just the 20% that I have a problem with myself. Now, when I get going, I'm financed and all that, and I got my company up and running and everything. One of the things I'm going to be doing, right, is every week I'm going to have a 2-hour, what I call a philosophy session, right, which is basically a reality check of, are we doing the right thing, right? Are we helping things? Asking all those, hard questions, because it's very easy to say, well, we're doing metaverse and we want to have a positive outlook on it, and we want, we only want to hear the positives of it. It's like when we're in the chats as well with Pi, we only really want to talk about the positives of it, but there are some legitimate questions. So my philosophy sessions are going to be essentially that, right? All the staff, all the managers, everyone together going, hey, I can see a problem here. Like things like just simple things like sharing, right? In my Pi Metaverse workplace, you're gonna your avatar will have little tags that that might just say some things like, this is the song that I'm currently listening to, and these are my likes and dislikes and all that. But you're sharing your personal information, right? So there's lots of questions we need to talk about in those areas, and a lot of people, this is where they talk about, you're taking back your ownership of your data, right? So hopefully we're in the situation where we just share what we want to share and not everything, you know. But that's really a very like I said, it's a 20% of what the metaverse can be. And like we know with anything, you get powerful people in charge of these things, which they are, you know, they've got their own plans. So we don't know what those are, and we can only go into these things with a positive attitude and, you know, without being a cliche, we're trying to do good things.
Okay, thank you, IQ. Yeah, so that's a wonderful answer. Yeah, there can be many downsides to, or there can be some downsides to any new development. So anyone can go and maybe read more about it and how he can benefit more. So, but before we go on, we would like to remind our community that this is Pi Revolution, and we are holding Pi and the Metaverse questions and answers. This is the second edition. We had the first one on Sunday, and our guest speaker is IQ. He is an expert on the metaverse. He wants to make Pi his primary blockchain for developing the metaverse. And this is, like I said, this is question and answers, and anyone can participate. If you have an answer, if you have a question, you can request for the mic. TC.
Yeah, so Gide, thank you so much. IQ, great job from me. Great. If you want to speak, you can request. I will unmute you. And I would like to remind everyone here, and everyone that would play this recording, like IQ have said, he's not affiliated to the Pi core team. He is just a metaverse developer. He's a developer. He's a tech guy. He's into so many tech things and also metaverse. So he can just, like everyone can decide to learn about software development and start building something. That is how he started, and now he's into building metaverse. So please get that, note that he is not affiliated with the Pi core team. Everything he's saying here is from his own experience that he's sharing with the Pi Revolution community, and everyone that is interested to listen, to know and understand the pros, the cons, how metaverse can benefit us, what it is, how accessible, what you can use it for, and so many other things. Thank you so much. So if you have anything to say, anyone with a question, just request to speak and I will unmute you. Okay, so Gide, do you have any other questions for IQ?
Well, on Sunday, you ask IQ about how many metaverses are there going to be. So after that discussion on Sunday, I went reading something about the metaverse, and on one of the articles I stumbled into, it was saying that some people are mischaracterizing the metaverse. Some people are saying that there will be many metaverses. Why the real issue is that there is only going to be one metaverse. Only one going to be one metaverse. Maybe there can be many worlds in that metaverse, but there is only going to be one metaverse. So, I want you to talk more on that. Why do you possess that there will be many metaverses? Why not just one metaverse, maybe with many corners or with many worlds, or even maybe with many planets, but only one metaverse? Just like there is in the real world, there is one universe, and maybe there is Earth, there is Mars, there is Moon, and so on and so forth.
So there will be many there'll be thousands of metaverses. So any corporate company can set up their own, basically it's their metaverse shop front, but maybe they want to go through a chain as well, so maybe they're on their metaverse as well. But from the front, there actually might be only a limited selection, just like there are now today. You know, you have Apple, Microsoft, you know, probably Google. You've probably got all your Linux desktops as well. Because the metaverse, I keep on coming back to, is a desktop, right? So it's a new way of interfacing with the internet. You know, it's just new 3D internet. So it could be quite possible that your entry point would be the ecosystem of VR goggles. You know, so it might be, you know, might be all Facebook, you know, Oculus or whatever, or it could be through Google's platform, or it could be through Microsoft's platform, or hopefully it's through my platform. You know, so I think there will be a limited selection, say like less than 10 selections of how you can access the metaverse. But then once you're in the metaverse, then it's just like a web page today. You know, there's thousands and thousands of, you know, millions of web pages. You know, now I don't really envision millions and millions of metaverses, but you know, we will have a Google search engine to search the metaverse.
Okay, so did you get that? IQ, thanks a lot.
Yeah, I got that.
And again,
Okay,
you know, this is my head talking. You know, this is the way I see it.
very clear, very clear. That is the way you see it from your view. Thank you so
Yeah, I
much for
have my
that,
own view
IQ.
about that.
Thank you. Okay, you can speak, so you.
Yeah, I have my own view about that. You know, just like there are many websites. You can enter www.google.com. You can enter www.mindpi.com. You can enter many websites, but in a whole, you can call them World Wide Web. So, well, we are like just like IQ said, we are still in the early stages of the metaverse. So maybe sometimes in the future, maybe 2030, when it is the metaverse, maybe it can only be metaverse. Then maybe IQ's metaverse will be a portion or a part or a side of the metaverse. So that is how I see it.
And
Uh,
maybe
that's-
too, maybe it's not, you know, each company has its own metaverse. Maybe it's grouped. Like I'm on my website, I have things like there's a travel metaverse, there's an education metaverse, you know, there's gaming metaverse, you know, so it might just be under those umbrellas.
our listeners, we are waiting for them to contribute. We're waiting for them to contribute. How do you benefit? How do you benefit from the metaverse? You now have your Pi in your hand, and you're waiting for your KYC so that your Pi is sent to your wallet. So when you have your Pi in your wallet, how do you benefit? How do you benefit from the metaverse? You are now, just like IQ just said, you are among the people that are in the early stages of the metaverse. So how do you benefit from the metaverse?
Sagide, come again with the question. Was that the question to IQ?
No, I'm calling on the listeners to contribute, to make their own comments.
Okay. They have some listeners did contribute. I think then you're having glitches, and anyone that wants to contribute should just request for the mic and We'll unmute you for to speak. And also, let me use this medium to announce the Pi Revolution will be having a NFT space. Pi NFT, prospects, marketplace, and the everyday people. Pi NFT, the prospect of the Pi NFT, the prospects of Pi NFT, marketplace around it, and how does it relate? How does it benefit the everyday people? On the February 20th of this year 2022. So please be reminded, keep a note, book a reminder, keep a tab on it. Pi NFT, come with your ideas, come with your questions, come with your contributions, and if you know you are sound on that regards to NFT, please do reach out to the Pi Revolution community. We really appreciate. Thank you once again for the knowledge you've shared with us. Sagidi, thanks. Woody, thanks. And to our listeners and those that have contributed and asked questions, thank you. We appreciate, and I hope that Pi surprises us even more than our best imaginations. We'll get there. Thank you, everyone. Now, I'm saying everyone. Bye. IQ, thanks. Bye bye. Sagide, you there?
Yeah. So thanks to you everyone for coming, and a very special thank you to IQ. Maybe we are looking at the next Google CEO. Maybe we are looking at the next Google or Apple CEO, the next Tim Cook.
Yeah, hopefully Pi Network's out, or the core team's out there listening to us.
Well, we are just following the page. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for what Nicholas. I'm grateful for what Fan for what on the Pi Network is doing. The Pi core team. We appreciate. The Pi Revolution is an extension, one of the so many extensions of the Pi Network. We are here to carry on with the vision and goal of the Pi Network, a global currency, global digital currency, accessible to the everyday people. We're here to reach the unreached, bank the unbanked, include the excluded. So yeah, we are doing that. Everything we're doing here, like IT is not affiliated to the Pi core team. It's just a developer that wants to also add positively to the Pi ecosystem so that the world at large can benefit from everything that is coming the Pi network. Thank you very much, IQ. All right, bye-bye, everyone. Have a blessed day.